You can put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
You stand by that comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right, so by now, you've heard that Joe Biden called half of America garbage, right? Particularly Trump supporters. Now, I want you guys to think about this. There's only one or two reasons. Number one, he really is salty about getting kicked out of the race, and he does not believe in Kamala Harris. Or two, his brain is really mush, and he just says whatever comes out of his mouth. But it doesn't matter. The reaction is blowing up, and so I want to react to it and talk about it and give this story special attention. Let's start with the clip itself of Joe Biden saying these words. Watch.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. He says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been.
Okay, so you heard what he said. This is the follow-up message from his handlers. Of course, he didn't type this. Earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. This demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at that rally don't reflect who we are as a nation. It's not even an apology. It's a clarification. In fact, it doesn't even deny that he didn't say that. It's funny. If you really read it, he never said that he didn't say the people who support Trump are garbage. All this is really doing is just cleaning it up. I find that to be funny. So, of course, people in the comments are just going after him, right? I follow In Wokeness. No, you call this garbage. It's on tape. Trump War Room, they're all over it, of course. Clown World's all over it. Pathetic old man, you call over half the country garbage. The only garbage I see here is you and your pathetic administration. I agree. And then here's Harry Simpson, who has zero testosterone, says, if you call Puerto Rico garbage, then you are garbage. It's that simple. Oh, okay. Got it. All right. So what do we see so far? We heard exactly what he said. No question. Okay. The only garbage I see floating out there is Trump supporters. His supporters is what he really said. All right. Number two. That was not an actual formal apology. That also did not acknowledge that what he said was incorrect. It was actually cleaning up what he said. There's a difference there. He didn't come out and say, hey, I apologize or regret that my comments were taken out of context. I am not calling Trump supporters garbage. I am calling that comedian. So that's what the facts are. Now let's take a look at the fallout, the reaction I was able to gather tonight. And we'll start with the people who are making excuses. Listen to this.
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona like he was last week. He's best with union folks as he was in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
What was that? He's twisted himself into a pretzel to explain this. You're telling me because there was an apostrophe at the end, he wasn't referring to his supporters? Guy, did you read the transcript? He verbatim said His supporters with an S. What are you talking about? Yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. If the media is really going to cover this the right way, they should call it exactly what this is. Joe Biden is a nuisance to Kamala Harris's campaign. He doesn't know what he's doing. This is an overshadow on that speech that she gave in D.C., but that remains to be seen, of course. Now, let me hit you with some common sense from Scott Jennings. Watch.
Yeah, let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave. Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What in the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
It's not true. The party already litigated it in Kamala's speech tonight.
But as a tactical matter today,
no, but you don't just get to say
why in the world is Joe Biden giving remarks at the same time as Kamala Harris?
I'll give you that.
No, he gets to say it because that's exactly what's been coming out of the Democratic Party's mouth. You've said it. CNN has said it. MSNBC says it. People on social media say it. Come on, stop it. You know, that's the interesting part. Can you just accept that your party did speak that way? But we know what this is. It's a double standard. When it's on their side, they want to act like it didn't happen. Just like Scott Jennings said, this is a pattern. This is who the Democratic Party is. You don't believe me? Watch this.
You can put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. They're racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
You said over the weekend, referring to it, there's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden.
Well, look,
you were comparing that rally to a Nazi rally?
Look, I'm comparing it to the hate that came out of this, and I think they confirmed that.
You stand by that comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
What about you, though?
So I know what I saw, and I'll just leave it at that.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right, so there it is. It's on videotape. We know what they feel. We know what they think because they say it. And so it's a dangerous game that they are playing by speaking this way because what they're doing is watering down these terms. Okay, so when you call someone fascist, Trump supporters are Nazis, they're garbage, all this other stuff, racist, you water down the actual word and you do a disservice to people who've actually experienced it. That's the interesting thing. Here's Vivek and his response on this.
Look, here's the October surprise. It just arrived. This is the basket of deplorables moment. That's what Hillary Clinton said in 2016 that tanked her campaign. Well, that's the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris moment right now. I am a little bit more cynical about this one, Sean, in the following way. It might look like Joe Biden's usual cognitive deficits kicked in. But the reality is we know his family is secretly probably rooting for Donald Trump, not Kamala Harris, to win because they feel really vengeful about how they were treated. So if you're in their shoes, you know that kind of comment is actually going to tank Kamala Harris. So we're going to put those kinds of motivations to one side. But regardless, it is a welcome October surprise because let's take a big step back. What's going on here? The wheels are coming off the car. They're spiraling. And now you see the accusations of the other side being Hitler or piles of garbage. You're going to hear a lot about threats to democracy in the next week. They are flailing, Sean. They understand Americans are not falling for their trick anymore. Donald Trump has a record that he's running on. They're frustrated by it. And I think it's, in some ways, a beautiful thing for our side to watch this completely come undone and turn the page on this ugly chapter of our history.
Maybe this is the October surprise. That remains to be seen. Obviously, it's based on the coverage of the media. Not too sure the Trump campaign will turn this into an ad. I would say they should. They should do like 15 seconds of the ad saying, this is the message from Kamala Harris. And then the second half is Trump focusing on policy. So there's a contrast, right? Her campaign's focused on hate. Trump's campaign's focused on solutions. I think that would be a great idea when it comes to the ad. Also, here is Byron Donalds and what he had to say about this.
My response is that the first statement from Joe Biden is the one that he truly believes. He does not think that people who disagree with him or his party, who support President Trump, are Americans. He thinks that they're garbage. That's a fact. And the reason, what I go back to is 4 years ago, around this same time, it was Joe Biden that went on the Breakfast Club, and he famously said that if you couldn't vote for him, then you weren't black. It's the same Joe Biden, made the same type of statement 4 years ago. So this is consistent with who he is. Look, I think right now what we have is a contrast in presidential campaigns. Donald Trump has been on the campaign trail talking about fixing our country, ending a lot of the travesties from the Biden-Harris administration, making America great again. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz for that matter, they're running around talking about the rally in MSG was a Nazi rally. Well, Laura, I spoke at that rally. So did Harry O., the founder of Death Row Records. So did Vivek Ramaswamy. So did Tulsi Gabbard. I don't think the Nazis will let us speak at their rally. So that hateful rhetoric is coming from the left, and it's got to stop.
This is the game of politics, right? It's all about who can control the narrative, right? And so the narrative at the beginning of the night was Kamala Harris gives her closing argument at D.C., the location of January 6th, and she wants to remind all these people what happened on January 6th to prosecute Trump. Then that gets overshadowed by Joe Biden coming out and saying this. What is the president thinking? Oh, that's right. He can't think, right? He shouldn't even be the president, but that's a whole nother thing. And then, of course, you're dealing with a candidate who knows how to get attention on social media. That is President Trump, and how he just has the ability to dominate the news cycle. So will his story bite Kamala Harris's campaign in the you-know-what because Trump's going to capitalize on it? I believe it's more likely that that will happen. Now, of course, we're in an election cycle where every crazy thing happens and then 24 hours later, it's like it never happened. So it remains to be seen. And lastly, you're going to have people on the left come out and say, well, you guys called Puerto Rico garbage. Wait a minute. I didn't call Puerto Rico garbage. Trump did not call Puerto Rico garbage. In fact, the last thing Trump said about Puerto Rico was this.
We are also praying for the people of Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. And we also love Puerto Rico. And we're marching.
But of course, the media is not going to show you that clip, are they? Right? They're going to try to suppress this, but maybe they're not. Let's see what happens when we Google this story. Okay, so as you guys can see, there are stories already dropping with this. And let's read some of the titles. Biden sets off firestorm in response to Trump rally comedian's Puerto Rico comment. Okay. Biden appears to call Trump supporters garbage. It doesn't appear, he did. Come on, the Hill, do better. CNN, Biden seeks to clean up garbage comment about Trump supporters. All right. Here's a crazy one. Forbes, Biden attempts to clarify his garbage comment as Republicans say it insults. Come on, man. We know what it is. AP News, they are the worst. Biden suggests Trump supporters are garbage. He didn't suggest. He said they are. These guys are funny. Oh, here's the best one for you grammar folks out there. Supporters or supporters. Biden's comments. God, I mean, these people, you just can't hate them enough. So my question for you is, do you believe this is the October surprise that is not going to work in favor of Kamala Harris? It will work against her. Do you believe this is finally a breaking point between the tensions of her campaign and Joe Biden's staff, and he continues to do things that contradict her campaign schedule, her campaign message? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Now, I also did a video reacting to her disaster DC speech that he did interrupt with this crazy news, where it was 90% orange man bad, and she had no message for independent voters or undecided voters. If you want to see me talk about that, you could click on that video because it's coming up right now.